No one could have known it then, but when Daytona International Speedway opened in 1959, it marked the beginning of a new era in American motorsport. As a replacement for the old beach road course a few miles to the east, the opening of the high bank 2.5-mile Florida Tri-Oval represented the leading edge of a wave of construction of big paved speed palaces. Before Daytona, Indianapolis was the only American oval track longer than 1.25 miles, and most racing took place on dirt ovals 1 mile or less in length. From the very first Daytona 500, won by Lee Petty in a 3-way photo finish, those high banks proved a favorable venue for wide-open stock car racing. Daytona kicked off the growth of NASCAR as we know it today. Daytona International Speedway's infrastructure has grown and changed to such a degree that it would almost be unrecognizable today to someone who hasn't seen it in the last 20 years. It's an amazing motorsports facility, but one thing hasn't changed over the past 6 decades. No driver can consider his or her career complete without notching a victory at Daytona. From Dale Earnhardt, who captured the 500 in 1998 after coming so close so many times, to 14-year-old kart racers whose racing resumes are just beginning. A victory at Daytona is a mark of distinction. Tonight, it's Season 9 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it starts now on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, bringing to you live coverage of Season 9 of the IROC Challenge Series. Here we are at Daytona tonight. 100 laps the race distance, 78-degree ambient temperature, 45% humidity, clear skies, 2-mile-per-hour breeze, almost nothing here in Daytona, 78-degree track temperature. May or may not play a factor tonight as handling not a premium at places like Daytona and Talladega. We'll see if that remains to be the case. 4 sets of tires over the wall. Again, not likely to use all of them, but they're there if the drivers opt to use them. 100% fuel on board tonight, so roughly 32 to 36 laps, the distance the drivers can take on a full load of fuel. 1 fast repair, as things can get a little chaotic here at times, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if things do get chaotic. Practice and qualifying in the books. Warm-up session just about wrapped up here from the Speedway. Let's see where the drivers are lining out. Fastest in the warm-up is Newt Quick in the 4, a 46.89. Of course, that's going to be a lap in the draft. Again, 100 laps the race distance this evening. That's effectively half distance of the Daytona 500, so 250 miles. It'll be a fun way to start this season. We're going to go 10 races here with the Truck Series. Then we're going to migrate over to the Xfinity Series cars. Then we'll run 10 races there. And then we'll finish out the season for 10 more races in the Cup car. Still waiting on confirmation if that's going to be the next gen, the Gen 7 there, or the Gen 6. Either way, it's going to be a blast. Less than 30 seconds remain in the session. So we look at Brandon Leclerc. You see the Coast Guard on board the number 21 machine tonight. Those of you that are familiar with IROC, you're used to seeing the common paint schemes throughout the field, just varying colors, same schemes across the board. But this season, things are a little different. Admins have opened it up to run whatever scheme you so choose. Some drivers still with their Spartan Logistics Management paint schemes from seasons past. That's going to be cool to see. But also, as you see, we got Brandon Leclerc there in the 21 with the Coast Guard, the Tracker Boat scheme as well, and Adam Benefile. Just means a little more work for this broadcaster, but honestly, I like it. It's good to see some creativity, guys getting the ability to represent themselves, put their sponsors on board their vehicles. With that said, the warm-up in the books. It's time for one thing here. That's our starting grid here from Daytona. On the pole position, a rather familiar name we haven't heard too much of over the years. but he's back. It's the number 25 at a lap time of 51.004. It's Jesse King. Outside front row, the number 83, another familiar name from Charity Motorsports. Missed it by 19 thousandths of a second. Brandon Mefford will start second. Row number 2, it's the 85 of Mike Cook. Jason Nilgis will start fourth. Kyle Turzak, super fast in the late model stock. The late model stock we had here last season. We'll see how he performs in the trucks. He'll start fifth. Steve Durbin rolls from the 6th position. Chris Wally, the number 75, starts 7th. Timmy Schofield in the 12. He'll roll from the 8th spot. 9th and 10th, there'll be Lance Riggins and Brandon Leclerc. 11th goes to Garrett Johnston. Zachary Cleek in the number 77. He'll start from the 12th spot. Neil Quick, again, another familiar name, a veteran of the IROC series. He'll start 13th. Nuke Quick in the 4 starts 14th. Cole Owens, the number 11, will be 15th. Todd Cleek, 16th. 17th, Brian McCann. 18th, Dan Pinkston. 19th is Doug Wysocki. Josh Funkhauser rolls 20th. Matt Kopp, 21st. Adam Benefile, 22nd. And last but not least, it's the number 46 of Chris Mefford. It's your starting grid here from Daytona. Field starting to roll as we speak, and we'll be green flagged the next time by. Again, the race details tonight. 100 laps the race distance, 1 fast repair to work with, 4 sets of tires over the wall, so 5 if you count what they're rolling around on right now. Clear skies, 78 degrees, 45% humidity. Almost doesn't feel like Florida out here tonight, but I assure you it is. Track temperature 78 degrees. It certainly has felt like a long off season here in the IROC Challenge Series, but we're ready and raring to go here for yet another season, Season 9. Getting ready to kick things off as the field rolls through turns 3 and 4. Jesse King on the bottom of the racetrack, flanked by the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Pace car makes the hard left down pit lane, field into the tri-oval. Barney with the green in hand, gets the command to throw it. There it is, green flag in the air from Daytona. We're underway. Field working the backstretch now into turn number 3. Jesse King stays out in front. Mike Cook is rolled up into the 2nd spot, the number 85 Toyota Tundra. In 3rd is Kyle Turzak, already up 2 spots. In the 3rd position, the black and red number 15 now switches lanes, leads the top line. Back to start finish, lap 1 in the books. Who leads it? It might have been Turzak, and sure it was. Kyle Turzak sniffs the race lead, now gets clear, moves past Jesse King with some help with Brandon Mefford. Mefford thought about jumping out of line, moving up top in front of the 88 of Jason Nilgis. Stays down to the bottom, didn't want to risk it too early. Field off at turn number 2 once again. Turzak with the race lead. Mefford jumps out of line, jumps back behind the 15. Down the backstretch now, Nilgis with some drafting help from the 42 is Steve Durbin. Going to see a lot of this all race long, I believe. Ooh, connection issues from Steve Durbin. That's scary to see, especially when you're close and tight here in the draft. Got away with it. Talk more about connection issues later on. Still a side-by-side battle up front. Turzak with the lead, almost door slam in the 88. On board with Kyle Turzak, drops down to the inside, got those laps led. He's going to let the field go on by. Doesn't like what he's seeing, too aggressive up front. Going to save the truck for now. He's going to try and get back up in line. Oh, some contact. They get away with it. Turzak tried to get out of the chaos at the front of the field and unfortunately almost created some. Turzak goes from the lead back to 13th. A little bit of contact with Lance Riggins, the 10 truck. Both drivers continue straight. Meanwhile, Nilgis, your new race leader, Steve Durbin, tucked up behind. On board with Durbin. Hard to miss that 88 truck, Jason Nilgis. Forget safety orange, that thing is bright. Inside line, only 3 trucks to speak of. Chris Wally in the number 75 is going to draft up and try to make it a 4-truck battle on the inside. Top side's got a little more numbers, but the 4 trucks on the inside, a little better organization, a little closer together. Certainly the 88 and the 42 tucked up nice and tight. That's going to push the 88 into the wind a little further than the rest of the field. Outside line starting to move. Zachary Kleek, the 77, leads the charge on the outside line. Todd Kleek giving him a push. A little bit of damage to the 77 truck. Maybe an ill-timed push. Got a little more than he bargained for off the nose of the 45. Should be able to get that squared away at the first pit stop. At least get things a little straighter. I want to make note, the 12 of Tim Schofield did not get to the green flag. So unfortunately, the 12 will finish in last place here tonight. Steve Durbin going to pull out a line as well. Not liking what he's seeing. We'll see if he can get tucked back in before they get to turn 3. You got to lift a bit, plus get some guys to help get you back up there. Kyle Turzak now stuck in the middle for a moment. He gets clear as well. Tries to get down in front of the 42. Turzak maintains now the 12th position. Just kind of biding his time, riding around right now, taking care of the truck. New Quick should be in the number 4 machine. Looks to be he's in the 3. Blue and white Oreo Ritz paint scheme. First race of the season, there's always a couple. Adam Benefiel in the number 9 machine. The Tracker Boats number 9 running in the 10th spot. Taking a look back out front. It's the Kleek and Kleek show. The 77 and the 45 lead the field. Jesse King to the right elbow. The 45 of Todd Kleek. Last we checked, I think both Kleeks topped the practice charts. In fact, let's get a look at that real quick. This is from earlier on the practice session. It was not the Kleeks. That may have been a different point in time. But Funkhauser, Benefiel, McCann, Schofield, Riggins, those are your top 5 in an early practice session tonight. Jesse King inches out in front, gets across the line. He'll pick up another lap lead. Zachary Cleek still leads off turn number 4. Looks to be pretty comfortable out in front, especially when he's got Todd Cleek in behind. Zach missed the trioval there just a bit, slides up the racetrack. I don't know if he was forced up there by the 45 with a push or if he just was looking in the mirror. Jesse King and Jason Nile just now working together. Topside the 22 as well. Daniel Pinkston. Top 2 positions keep changing, kind of back and forth, seesaw battling up front. Jesse King with it right now. Jason Nile just doing a great job working with that number 25, pushing him out in front. Inside lane, it's the shorter distance around, but not as fast. Just scrubbing a little more speed the lower you go. I'll tell you though, if I'm Zachary Cleek, I'm going to stay right where I'm at. Front of the number 45, Todd Cleek. Clearly these guys have raced together numerous times. You want somebody you can trust in that rear view mirror that's going to give you a good push. Nile just took a look to the inside of Jesse King for the race lead. Just a peek, didn't have anybody helping him to go. Now for 5th and 6th, we're 3 wide. Pinkston way up the racetrack alongside Chris Wally. He's the meat in the sandwich. Todd Cleek in the 45. Now the 21 of Brandon LeClaire becomes a part of this race. He's the 21 machine on the bottom. Just like that, Chris Wally working the high side in front of Dan Pinkston, going for the race lead. We're 3 wide for the top 6 spots here at Daytona. All these drivers pushing very hard, very early here at Daytona International Speedway. Comp caution coming up at lap 25. No stage breaks this year, at least in this segment of races. Old school racing going straight up. Again, a comp caution though at lap 25, kind of break things up, allow drivers to regroup, make a bit of a plan. They can certainly make it to that caution on fuel. Again, that fuel window about 32 to 36 laps, depending on how aggressive drivers want to be with their savings. In the IROC chat, we got one chatter already. It's the sober one. Says, hey, y'all. And the caution's out. Big trouble in the backstretch. Multiple trucks involved. One almost went up on his lid. I think that was the 88 of Jason Nilgis. And we're under caution. The first time tonight. Let's get a look at it here just a moment ago. Some fancy new graphics, iRacing. Didn't know that was coming. We've seen the blowover with the old 87 Cup cars for the longest time, but we actually got some air underneath these trucks now. That was interesting to see. Trying to get a better look at this to see how this really kicked off. We'll slow it down a little bit. Looks like the 45 pinched off Jesse King here, which in turn sends him into the 88 Anilogist. Chris Wally gets kind of sandwiched in there as well. Dan Pinkston tried to go to the bottom to clear it all, but Jesse King's there. He's got nowhere to go. Sends him down into Neil Quick. Looks like the 11 got a piece of this as well. So did the 4 of Nuke Quick, which is actually the Oreo machine. Pit stop's underway, clearly, through that incident. Chris Wally going to take right side tires in this caution opportunity here. 16 laps in, so I don't think this is going to count as our comp caution. It's a bit early to go that far, but is Wally going to sit here and fix this? Yeah, he's going to try and get some repairs made. Not going to burn that fast repair this early. He's going to shake things up here at the front of the field. So Zachary Kleek's going to be your new race leader. Brandon Leclerc, Nuke Quick, Steve Durbin, Josh Funkhauser is your new top 5. Well, while we're under this caution, we're going to step aside, get a quick break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Daytona International Speedway, 18 laps complete. Pace car lights are off, so we're going to go back to green flag racing here. Be lap 19 when they retake the green flag. Should still have a comp caution coming at lap 25, so keep an eye out for that. Pace car headed in.
You ready? Green flag.
Field coming up to speed. Brandon Leclerc working to the outside with some help from the 42 at Durbin. Zachary Cleek still sticking to the bottom of the racetrack. New Quick in the 3 truck, the Oreo machine. It's listed as the number 4 in the tower. Brandon Leclerc off to the races down the backstretch. That top line there, those 3 trucks in a row. Battling back on the bottom, Zachary Cleek. So Leclerc gets clear, takes the top spot. Now he sits in front of the 77 of Zachary Cleek. Off turn number 2, slides up the track just a little bit. Some drivers shaking and moving to the back, trying to pick a lane to draft with. You see Brian McCann now coming into the frame. McCann, I don't know if McCann was involved in that incident or not. Nope, he's up in the 7th position. Took a minute to find him in the tower, but within the top 10, and that red, white, and blue number 3 machine. Meanwhile, Zachary Cleek showing his prowess on the super speedways. He quickly gets back to the race lead. Ahead of Steve Durbin, still Durbin pushing in that number 42 Bluey machine. One driver out of line. I don't know if that was intentional or if he got pushed down and kept it straight, but nevertheless, not sure exactly if that's the 5. No, it's a 15. There we go. Garrett Johnston in that number 15. Couldn't see the 1, but we got her figured out. Zachary Cleek doing a good job keeping that truck out in the wind, even with the damage. Changes lanes, though, abandons the 42 at Durbin. Drops down in front of a hard-charging Brandon Leclerc in that number 21 Coast Guard machine. Off turn number 2. Only 3 trucks at the top lane. We got more bailing out here down the back straightaway. Kyle Turzak with the 15 on the door. Should be the 51. See, I told you, first race of the season, folks. We're trying to get these numbers right. Zachary Cleek now under fire from Steve Durbin. Durbin's got Jesse King as a drafting partner on the high side. King in the black and gold Rise number 25. Top line's making it work, but Jesse King steps out of line thinking he's going to have some help to go for the race lead. Doesn't look like that's going to pay off. Here comes the 11 of Cole Owens. King's going to lead the outside line. Durbin leads the bottom. Owens just coming up into this picture. He runs in the 2nd spot. Zachary Cleek 3rd in line on the inside. Field headed into turn number 3. Next time across start finish, we should have the final lap of this first segment. Again, the top caution expected to come out about lap 25. Not sure if that's going to be at the line for lap 25 or at the completion of it. We're going to find out here in about a minute. Jesse King leads it across the stripe. Durbin steps out of line, switches lanes now, gets up in front of Garrett Johnston. The 11 of Owens, he drops below the yellow line. I don't know if he was just trying to get out of it. He's going to stick now on the bottom side. Durbin with the race lead, coming to the comp caution, I believe. One driver out of line, that's the 15 to Johnston again. Big pushes coming off turn number 4. You think they'd be paying points for this sort of thing with the kind of aggression we're seeing at the stripe. Garrett Johnston's going to lead it at the line. Caution comes out. And if that's just a preview to what the last lap of this race is going to look like, I'm excited. So to recap, we did have some drivers hit pit lane during that first caution. It was lap 16. It was Pinkston, Jesse King, Cole Owens, Lance Riggins, Todd Kleek, Adam Benefill, and others. The fuel window, as we said, between 32 and 36 laps, but given the opportunity to pit under caution, especially here at the Super Speedway, I imagine drivers are going to take that opportunity now rather than later. Garrett Johnston trying to get caught up with the pace car. You see what some of these guys are doing. They drop down way below that yellow line as they slow up for the pace vehicle on the backstretch. Reason being behind doing that is in case someone behind you isn't quite paying attention. They can't get slowed down. At least gives them an opportunity to swing it up high side and not run into the back of you. Expanding a little bit more on the connection issues on some drivers. The scary part about that is when you lose that connection briefly, you see that the truck or car disappears. Well, the sim still kind of keeps a general track of where the truck should be. So if all of a sudden your connection improves and you come back in, well, you land in a particular spot. You just cross your fingers at a place like Daytona that you don't land on another truck, because that's possible. Here we go. Pit stops underway here at Daytona. Looks like everybody's going to come down this time. Garrett Johnston leads them in. And yes, indeed, every driver going to hit pit road here. Johnston has to back it up, overshoots the box a bit. See, a couple drivers might have stayed out. No, yeah, Chris Mefford and Neil Quick stay out on the racetrack. Jesse King's going to be the first one out. Looks like fuel only for the 25. Again, we talked about that in the open, how tires are important. Obviously, you got to have them on the truck and aired up, ready to go, but having fresh ones is not a huge advantage at a place like Daytona, especially at Talladega. Definitely not. The only real advantage it gives you is maneuverability in the pack. If you're trying to make some late race aggressive moves, you might want some fresh tires underneath the race truck, but if you're just trying to maintain, pick up that track position. Get fuel only, get out there first. Jesse King certainly not scared. Looks like Lance Riggins went fuel only as well. Kyle Turzak. Zachary Kleek, the first driver to put 4 tires on. He's going to restart about 6th. Todd Kleek went fuel only. Brandon Leclerc Might have been right sides only. Leclerc was in there 13 seconds. That's enough time to do fuel and rights. I can't imagine they got a 4-tire stop done that quick. Adam Benefile was 14.8. That's 4 tires. Garrett Johnston, however, 23.35. Now, remember, he did overshoot the box, so that might have factored into that time. But still going to restart in the top 10. Meanwhile, Neil Quick's going to hit pit road. Or he thought about it. Kyle Turzak, however, he's definitely coming down. A lot of drivers coming back down to top off. Lyle just has to back up a bit as well. He missed the box just slightly. Now you see Turzak slowed up. I want to pay close attention to that. Turzak was very slow on exit of the pit lane. Now my question is that because pit exit was not open yet? That is sometimes the case. You got to wait on that pit exit flagger to open up pit exit before you can leave. Otherwise, you're going to incur a penalty. A couple of drivers did go by Turzak, leaving the pit, so I'd be curious to see what happens if those penalties are cleared or if they're enforced. If they're cleared, Turzak's not going to be a happy camper. So, back out front. So we're getting ready for yet another restart. Chris Mefford started dead last here today. Now going to lead this race back to green here in just a bit. Mefford did make a pit stop at lap 16. Him and Neil Quick both stayed out during this comp caution. They get all the data they need. As you see, the pace car lights are out, so we're getting ready for a restart here. Second caution of the afternoon, first for cause, the big incident on the backstretch. This one for the comp caution. Can they make it all the way to the end without seeing another? Or at least start-finish line. That last lap. We'll see. Pace car's in. Barney waves the green flag. We're back racing at Daytona. Chris Mefford brings him down to the line. Real quick, not with a great restart. Jesse King's going to get to the inside. Truck still coming up to speed. It takes him a lap at least to get up to full song. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air. There's a lot of drag and not a ton of power in those Ilmor engines. Mefford maintains the top spot through 3 and 4. On to turn 4, just about full speed as they approach the tri-oval. Mefford's going to lead the lap. Oh, Chris Mefford losing connection for a moment. Trying to get that back. Chris Mefford just disappeared. We'll see if he comes back in. And there he is. Disappears again. This is a problem. I don't know if that was a server issue. We had some problems here too for a moment, but we're back up. Good running here. Lost about 35 frames in the blink of an eye, but we're solid again. Battle out front. 77 is Zachary Kleek. And Neil Quick to the outside in the R&R Raceware number 2 down the backstretch. Top 6 all together. Double file into turn 3. We got Sam in the HBR TV chat, says, "Go Leclerc." Thanks for checking in, Sam. Oh, some contact. Speaking of Leclerc, he saves it. Number 21 Silverado, Brandon Leclerc, had a moment there in the tri-oval, saves the race truck, continues on running in the 6th position. Zachary Cleek still out in front. He's been the dominant truck here tonight. A lot of people talk about how, it doesn't take a whole lot of talent to run around these super speedways. You just got to be lucky. Well, Zachary Cleek, at least to this point, has shown a propensity to get to the front. If he gets past, it doesn't take him very long to work back to that top spot, whether it's on the outside or the bottom. He's been able to get it done. Tell you though, Jesse King still looking awful aggressive in the rearview mirror of the 77 as they get out of turn 2, down the back straightaway once again. Leaders still Cleek and Quick, the top 2. Then it's Jesse King and Lance Riggins. Riggins driving that number 10 machine. Then Dan Pinkston, Brandon Leclerc. Of course, the running order has changed about 5 times in just the last couple of corners. Cleek, though, the ever constant one in the timing tower, still leading this race. Real Quick still to the outside. The top 2 remain unchanged, 35 laps in. Now, keep in mind, Neil Quick is one of the drivers that has not made a pit stop, at least during the comp caution. He made his pit stop at lap 17. Now, unfortunately for Chris Mefford, he also pitted at lap 16, but he had a major connection issue a handful of laps ago. He maintains his position on the lead lap. Remember, he was out leading this race, and all of a sudden, he's at the back of the pack, trying to get things sorted. It may have been an intentional decision on the 46's part. Knowing he was having those connection issues, you don't want to wad up the field because of it. So a veteran move, a smart move. Chris Mefford dropping to the tail here until that gets figured out, or at least gets a little more stable. Meanwhile, back out front, Jesse King now powers around Cleek. He takes the top spot. Neil Quick pushing King very hard down the back straightaway. Outside lines got the numbers and a little bit more organized than the bottom. Things jockeying up just a bit. The outside's going to get a big run here on those top 2 trucks if they allow it. Out of turn 4, King still with the top spot. Neil Quick in the 2nd position. You see the rest of the trucks there have caught the top 2. Swinging to the outside is the 10 of Riggins. Nothing doing there. Tucks back in line in front of Durbin. Picking up the draft off Neil Quick again. About a truck length between the 2 of them. Neil Quick, I thought he was going to go to the inside there. Just took a look. Maybe trying to get some cooler air up the nose of his race truck. Trying to keep things cool. That's the problem, is the trailing driver. If you're tucked up, giving the lead driver a big push and not getting a whole lot of air into the radiator, trying to keep that engine cooled down. Run enough laps under the green flag. You may see guys step out of line just trying to get air onto the nose. Leclerc has rebounded nicely, now back into the top 5 after his air racing experience through the tri-oval just a handful of laps ago. Not phased one bit, it seems. Dan Pinkston drops below the yellow line in the tri-oval, inadvertently, I assume. Jesse King still out in front. King's been known to be good on these super speedways as well. Really, he's good just about anywhere we go. He's quick on the road courses as well. He's going to be a challenge this season. Neil Quick now to the inside out of turn 2. Found an opening ahead of the 77. Drops down in front of him. Now challenging Jesse King for the top spot. But the bottom doesn't have the numbers. Doesn't have him lined up nice and tight like you need. Top side isn't perfect either, but they got more trucks to work with. Makes a big difference. The more trucks you can get in a line, the faster that line is going to go in comparison. You got 5 trucks up top versus 3 on the bottom. The 5 are going to go faster. Effectively, what you're doing is you're splitting the draft and the wind resistance between 5 trucks versus 3, or whatever the number may be at the time. Cleek slides up the track just a bit, almost gets into the 10. I just gotta wonder if these guys are really trying to put some air into the radiators of these trucks. They're stepping out of line, and honestly, these guys are usually really clean. They can hold a line pretty well. It almost seems like them switching up lines the way that they are is more a matter of trying to keep that engine cool than anything else. Of course, the guys out front right now, Jesse King, Neil Quick, they don't need to worry about that at all. They're getting all of that clean air. But again, talking of Neil Quick, pit at lap 17. Yes, we had one caution to break things up after his pit stop, so that's going to extend that fuel window from that 32 to 36, maybe to as many as 40 laps. But we're just about at 41 laps right now, so let's just say it's an arbitrary number of 40 laps. Add that to the 17, so we should see Neil Quick pit for fuel, at least be required to here in the next 15, 17 laps. Again, that's just a guess. I'm not really great with the math end of things on the pit box, so we're just trying to get that figured out, but we're going to see Neil Quick down here for fuel before anybody else, unless something else happens under caution. That's going to be the game plan, I think, for the 2. Neil still out in front. Zachary Cleek right to the tailgate of the 2. Dan Pinkston is third in line on the inside. Jesse King still leads the top line. 5 trucks still together. Neil Quick slips up off 2 just a bit. Now he switches lanes entirely. Blocks the run that was coming from the high side. There's going to be a big push coming from Jesse King here into turn 3. Guys are putting on a show here at Daytona. It's been a good one to this point. Lots of aggression, lots of positions being changed, lane changes galore, and we're not even halfway. Zachary Cleek, though, back to the top spot off the nose of Dan Pinkston. Brandon Leclerc, Neil Quick, Jesse King still the top 5. Neil Quick up the middle here. King backs out of it, doesn't want to be the top piece of the sandwich in that mix. King's going to have a run here. He might tuck in behind Neil Quick, or does he? No. Meanwhile, Durbin's going to pull out a line. He's going to go back, lose some track position, but maybe live on to fight. This thing's getting a little hot for his blood. Zachary Cleek still in command here at Daytona. Crosses the stripe, puts lap 44 up on the tower. Pinkston, Leclerc, Cleek, and Quick, the top 5. Quick now in a battle for that 5th spot with Cole Owens, the number 11 Ceramic Pro machine. Riggins has slipped back to the 7th position. Riggins really the only help that Neil Quick right now has as far as a drafting partner is concerned. New Quick pulls down out of line here. Not sure if he was second-guessing the decision to go to the back. He gets back up in the racing groove relatively quickly. Picks up the draft off the 11. Cam Fortier says Leclerc has been super impressive this race in the HBR TV chat. He really has. He's been consistent, staying up in the top 10, mostly the top 5, and even had a great save here, I don't know, about 15, 20 laps ago. Again, guys, I apologize if I'm getting quiet very often. It's not that there's not action to cover here. I'm just trying not to cough on air, so I keep clicking that button. Doing our best. Cleek still with the lead. Pinkston second. Neil Quick battling back on the outside into turn 3. Momentum for Neil Quick on the outside to get back to Cleek and take over the top spot. He's there, but just doesn't have enough of a run to get through and clear. Pinkston gets crossed up in the tri-oval. He saves it as well. What a save for the 22. That would have been disaster. Pinkston does a good job, but it's situations like that where you're glad you got fresher tires on. And Pinkston was in the pits for over a minute that last stop. I'm not sure if he took tires, but man, if he did, I think that's just what saved him. So Quick now to the lead, now to the inside. Cleek switches up, goes topside, and he's back in the third. He's going to lose third here in a minute, I think, to Leclerc. Off turn number 4, Neil Quick in command with nobody to the outside. Pinkston pushing the 2 through the tri-oval. Third place is Leclerc. Battle for fourth between Zachary Cleek and Lance Higgins. Higgins? I meant Riggins. Josh Funkhauser into the mix, running in the 5th position now. Funkhauser started 20th. He's made his way up 15 positions since the drop of the green flag, and we're still not quite halfway. New Quick in behind Zachary Cleek. Top lane needs the numbers. Right now only 3 trucks working together. Jesse King takes a peek to the inside of Quick there. Nothing doing for the 25. Quick takes a peek, but drops it right back down. Lucky that King didn't fill the gap. Neil Quick continues to lead this race, though. Pinkston second. Cleek trying to battle back on the outside. If they can make this work with 3 trucks, I applaud them for doing it, because the bottom side is working, and they've got the numbers right now. Off turn number 4, about to put the halfway lap up on the board. Lap 50 as they cross the line. Neil Quick's going to lead them down. Cross flags here at Daytona. With that, we are halfway here at Daytona. We're going to step aside, get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. You won't miss a minute of the action.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Daytona International Speedway, 54 laps complete. Zachary Cleek, been the dominant force here tonight, continues to lead. Jesse King, no slouch either, runs in the second spot. Pinkston, Riggins, and Leclerc, your top five, and the action continues down into turn number one. See the margin of the lead for the 77 of Cleek. Not very much, maybe a few feet over the 25 of Jesse King. Meanwhile, Pinkston now pushing the 77. The top lane, though, only 3 trucks, but they're making it work. It's King, Riggins, and Nuke Quick. Meanwhile, during our break, I believe, Neil Quick made his pit stop. Indeed, he did. He did take tires. Unfortunately for the two, him being off sequence and no one to pit with puts him at a disadvantage as he goes down a lap here. So he had to make that pit stop under green flag conditions. Now, if he stays the first truck 1 lap down, if we get another caution, again, that's an if. It's really his only saving grace. If we get that yellow flag to come out, he'd get that lap back, he'd get caught up to the tail end of the field, and he could continue his march back towards the front. But at a place like Daytona, you are not going to get that lap back in a fashion that's effective under green flag conditions. So Neil Quick's just got to sit there and ride, take care of the truck, and cross your fingers for a yellow. On the other side of this is some drivers are going to need to make pit stops relatively soon, just based on the fuel load. So you're probably going to start seeing some fuel stops under green additionally in the next 5 to 6 laps. Meanwhile, Jesse King now your race leader. Pinkston second. Leclerc now jumping up into the 3rd spot. See Chris Mefford, he's going to go down a lap as well. So now Mefford, the first truck 1 lap down. Neil Quick's going to need to get around the 46 if he wants to get that lucky dog. Again, it's dependent on the caution coming out. I want to remind everybody, no stage breaks in the series this year. There was a comp caution at lap 25, but that's the only planned break that we're going to have. So if the yellow is to come out, it's going to have to be a natural caution, which is going to result in likely some bent sheet metal and some tire smoke. .59 laps complete here from Daytona. Jesse King still the race leader. Zachary Cleek, again, the dominant force. He's been out front a lot of the time tonight. Likely has locked up most laps led. He's since slipped back to P7. Now, my guess here is he's just trying to get out of the weeds, maybe save a little bit of fuel in the draft, knowing that he's going to have to pit here relatively soon. There might be a fuel number, a lap number that he's trying to get to before making that pit stop. Meanwhile, back out front, Jesse King now your new race leader. Put it on pole here tonight. He's been out front battling all night long. Neil Quick working the outside, trying to take a lap back the old-fashioned way. Again, he's in a position where he'd get the lucky dog, but now as he gets ahead of Jesse King in 3 and 4, he would just get waved around. He's working with Nuke Quick in that Oreo machine just behind him. And then Chris Wally not too far behind either, about a truck length behind the 3 truck. Neal unable to keep his truck ahead of the race leaders. For the time being, he's going to slip back just a bit, but still, he's got Nuke Quick working with him, so he's not going to lose all of the draft. But it seems that everybody's trying to get lined out single file on the inside line, knowing that they're going to have to pit here in a few laps. Always want to try and get that done early rather than wait until the very last minute and then get stuck. But here we go. One truck coming down. It's Lance Riggins. So first one to come down on sequence, lap 62, it's the 10. And this is going to set him up for a situation. If we go green to the end, likely going to need to make a splash and go on that final stop. Problem for Riggins here, I don't know if he got roped into pitting right now or if this was unplanned. But he came down here by himself, so he's going to get back out on the track, but he's not going to have a drafting partner. That's going to cost him some significant lap time. Race leaders are in. Just about everybody. Land rush down to pit lane, and Pinkston gets into King, locks him up. Zachary Kleek is around, not all the way, gets it straightened up, and he takes some contact from the nose of the 11 of Owens. Some more damage on the 77. If Kleek didn't have the fast repair clicked yet, he might want to try and hit it now if he's got the time. Kleek gets into his pit stall. And I don't think he got the fast repair checked. And he might get held here. No, he got away with it. Kleek down and away, 16:22. Not a great stop. Probably pretty happy that he didn't get nailed for an unsafe entry. Try and find that one here. Give me a minute. We'll see if we can find it. Zachary Kleek entering pit lane here, lap 63. Here we go. Of course, he's already on pit lane. We've already missed the disaster. We're just going to have to rewind this and watch it. So at speed. Too much rear brake and locks it up. Oh, and Owens just nails him in the back. Meanwhile, Leclerc, Funkhauser, and Mike Cook, they're just leaving pit road. Their service complete. It's going to be a stretch. These guys that are making their pit stops now, they might be able to make it to the end if we stay green. They're going to have to work for it. I think 34 laps is about the average for everybody, but if you stretch it and you can save some fuel and you're careful about it, you might be able to go with 36. Right now, you see the 83 of Brandon Mefford. He inherited the top spot, but still finishes up his pit stop. Nile just now completing his pit work. He's back out. So green flag pit stops underway. Could be the final stop for some of these drivers if we stay green to the end. Some will gamble. But again, you're going to have to try and save. And by save, that means get in the draft, tuck up behind somebody, lift off that throttle until it's time to go. Many of these drivers working with a legitimate crew chief, watching their fuel, or usually utilizing an app like Race Labs or something of that nature, trying to help them figure out fuel economy. Even iRacing has the ability to do it, though not quite as accurate. But it's going to be close. So post pit stop, these drivers are back up to speed. Nilgis, Durbin, Johnston, Mefford, McCann, the top five. McCann and Terzak working the outside. We're at the 46 of Chris Mefford, who's now on the lead lap again as well. Big time run on the outside, down the back straightaway. Brian McCann going to take over the lead into turn number 3. Terzak's going to drop down with him. What a move. Watch these two guys battle it out in the late model series last season. Now they work together to get to the front of the field. So new top 5, it's McCann, Turzak, Nilgis, Durbin, and Chris Mefford. Contact in the middle of the corner. Turzak not afraid to push the 3 of Brian McCann. McCann not afraid to get it. Back to the back straightaway. McCann slithering down the backstretch. Back to the low side now. Takes Turzak with him. Chris Mefford on the heels of Turzak into turn 3. You see your new top 3. It's McCann, Turzak, Chris Mefford. Chris Wally jumps into the 4th spot. And Neil Quick, remember, he was a lap down, just praying for a caution. Not anymore. Through the pit cycle, he's worked himself back up into the top 5 lead lap trucks, challenging for the race win here at Daytona. Chris Wally trying to make a move to the outside. He wants the race lead. Up to 2nd. He's got some good pushers behind. Neil Quick, Riggins trying to push him across the line. Wally may have let that lap. At least going to pick up some points at a bare minimum. Still working to the outside of Brian McCann. Wally now clear. Brian McCann tried to drop down in front of the 3. Wanted to take Neil Quick with him. Thought better of it. Wasn't able to get Quick clear. So McCann's going to retake the top spot. A little bit of indecision may have cost Chris Wally the race lead there, but wanted to take the 2 with him. Wally now side by side with Turzak. Neil Quick thought about looking to the outside and making it 3 wide. 31 laps to go here at Daytona. McCann leads. Wally 2nd. Turzak 4th. Mefford and Quick side by side for 4th and 5th. Turn 4, still battling at the front of the field. These guys are fighting like there's 5 laps to go. There's 30 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Dan leads it. Wally not giving up. Wally's tough on these super speedways. I've had to fight him off a couple of times myself before I jumped behind the microphone and I was in the cockpit. Unfortunately, I lost that race. Wally retakes the top spot. He gets clear. Quick had a chance to get down. Didn't take it fast enough. McCann's going to fill the gap. Now, Neil Quick stuck on the outside. We got equal numbers, top and bottom, though. This is where it gets fun and interesting. It's all a matter of getting organized. Whoever can have the tightest single file line is going to have the pace. Now the outside, again, it's the longer way around, but again, you're not scrubbing as much speed, so you can have a little bit more of it. There's benefits to top, there's benefits on the bottom. Chris Chris Wally still out in front. Now he's getting drafting help from Brian McCann. He's tucked right up underneath the back bumper tailgate area of the 75 machine. Oh, limited contact with Chris Wally and Riggins. Riggins goes way up the racetrack. Wally loses the lead to Neil Quick, still maintains the second spot. So Neil Quick went from a lap down prior to the pit stops to now leading this race. 74 of 100 laps. Chris Wally runs second, Brian McCann third, Kyle Turzak fourth, Chris Mefford, Nuke Quick fifth and sixth, then Riggins and Funkhauser. On board with Chris Wally, still running in the second spot, holding a pretty wheel out of turn 2. And yellow on the Speedway. Not sure what we have here. Oh, big trouble. Nile just involved in this one again as well. Big time damage to the nose of number 88 machine. Second caution for cause, third overall of the night. And this is going to help a lot of drivers with their fuel mileage. Let's get a look at it. Ooh, it happened way up in front of Nile. Just big time impact. Chris Mefford. He got right hooked up the racetrack. Jesse King gets a piece of this as well. I'm going to back this up. That was a big, big hit. Yeah, Nuke Quick just coming down the racetrack. I don't think it was intentional, but man, it almost looks like he had a magnet on the right rear of his truck bringing Nuke down. Yeah, Jesse King's going to get a piece. It'll send him up the track. Cole Owens gets a piece of this as well. Now, Mefford was coming up a bit too, so maybe that surprised Quick as well. Quick comes down, collects Riggins. Go back and watch the Nile just ended this thing. He got a big piece of the wall as well. Again, the incident starts in front of them. He lifts a little bit, gets on the brakes, but Durbin gets in the back. Nile just almost has it saved, but then he goes up the racetrack and just pounds the outside safer barrier. Well, as I said, that gets everybody in a situation where the fuel is no longer an issue, but looks like the majority of these guys came down and pit anyway. Some had tires, some decided not. Neil Quick, though, he's out first with an 8.4 second stop. I'm going to say that's fuel only for the 2 of Neil Quick. Chris Wally's going to come back out in the second spot. His was 12 seconds. He might have taken right sides. Again, as we talked about earlier on in this race, tires not as important. You could probably run this whole race on one set, but your maneuverability is what suffers as the tires age. But if you're Neil Quick, you're digging for that track position, you want to be out leading this race, fuel only was definitely the call. Brian McCann about a 12-second stop, possibly rights only. Turzak 14.6. That's probably going to be 4 tires. Garrett Johnston's going to restart 5th. 4 tires. Mike Cook 4 tires. Neil Quick certainly not known for his love of super speedways by any means. I'd say Neil's more of a short track guy than anything else, but he usually performs well at these tracks when it comes down to it. But in the same token, he tends to get caught up in somebody else's disaster before they come to a checkered flag. Gonna be good to see if Neil can get this one done. Certainly has the skill. Just needs to pick up some luck. Field doubling up, getting into turn 3 here. See the pace car lights are out, so we're going to go racing this time by. It'll be 22 laps to go at the line. Lights are on here at the Speedway as the sun continues to set. Darkness starting to fall over the Speedway. And so is a green flag. 22 laps to go. We're back racing. Big push from Turzak. Gets into the back of Wally. He's coming to the stripe. Certainly helped the 75 more than it hurt. Turzak drops down to the inside. Threads the needle to get into that 3rd position on the inside line. In behind Brian McCann. Quick leads the field through turns 1 and 2. Then it's Brian McCann, Kyle Turzak, Garrett Johnston 4th. Wally has slipped back to the 5th position. Wally seems like he's got an anchor hanging out of his machine. He's not able to get really up to speed. He continues to lose some positions. Quick still out in front through turns 3 and 4. It'll be 21 to go at the line. Some very familiar names here at the front of the field still. Neil Quick, Brian McCann, and now Brandon Mefford working to the outside ahead of Chris Wally. Turzak still to the inside behind Brian McCann. Quick slips up the racetrack just a bit. I think he might be trying to keep some air on the nose of the Brian McCann machine. Wants to keep Brian there, pushing him as long as possible. He trusts Brian. He's worked with Brian. He's raced with Brian for many seasons. Turzak slips up just a bit. Now the battle on the high side. Brandon Mefford, Chris Wally making some contact through 3 and 4. It's going to push the 83, give him a run off the corner. Gets side by side with Brian McCann for the second spot, but not enough to get up to Neil Quick. 19 to go. Still 21 trucks on the lead lap here at Daytona. These guys certainly know how to get it done and do it cleanly. Turzak slips just a bit off turn number 4. No harm, no foul. Doesn't get into anybody. Quick still leads into turns 1 and 2. Brian McCann, Turzak, the top 3. There's certainly a chance Quick could lead this all the way to that white flag lap. It's that white flag lap that's usually calamity. Again, don't forget, the yellow comes out in the last couple of laps. Oh, we got one down low. It's Pinkston. 22 again with another good save. Gets it down below on the flat. Comes back up on the racetrack, and everybody continues on. Pinkston, though, going to lose some ground. He's shown in the 12th position now, in behind the 45 of Todd Cleek. Jesse King back in the mix here. He's in the 11th spot, knocking on the door of 11th. He's going to ride the 45 here, try and draft up to that lead pack. Now Brandon Mefford battling for the top spot with Neil Quick. Down the back straightaway, Mefford right there. Mefford on the outside, the white, red, and I think blue, number 83. Zoe's place on the hood of that Chevrolet. Switching it up again. Mefford nose is out in front into turn 1. Wally there, a few feet off the back bumper of the 83. Both lines have the numbers. Top side's a little more organized. Wally can tuck right into the tailgate of the 83. Could push him around Neil Quick. Down the backstretch. Once again, side by side for the race lead. Three-wide battle just outside the top 10. Todd Cleek involved in that one. Cleek slides up the track a little bit. Duke Quick as well. Thought we were going to get a yellow out of that one. We don't. Everybody keeps going. We're still 3 wide through the tri-oval. Oh, do we have trouble now? We do. There's the caution. Yellow is out. Todd Cleek certainly in the wall. Saw that one getting ready to happen. Todd Cleek with a little bit of right front damage on that number 45 CarQuest Auto Parts machine. This may have started with Josh Funkhauser. Let's get a look. See, the 81's already around here. I'm going to back it up a little further to see if we can get a better eyeball on it. Jason Nile just involved in this one as well. Again, he's had a rough afternoon. So watch the 81 truck to the outside. That black and dark red machine comes up the racetrack. He's not clear of the 88. They make contact, which in turn sends the 81 right into the wall. And then drivers trying to avoid just collecting each other because of it. Watch it again here. Nuke Quick tries to avoid, just goes a little too far. I mean, you can never go too far, I guess, if you're trying to avoid a wreck, but he does collect some other trucks in the meantime. Pinkston was one of them, but he keeps it going straight. Doesn't really get into anything. Might have a little bit of damage from that contact. Zachary Cleek gets through. But there you have it, our fourth caution of the day. Third for cause. Neil Quick still leads. 14 laps to go. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the conclusion from Daytona after this. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody
Gonna try and stop Smith. He drops down below, throws the block, up the racetrack, throws another block. McCann goes to the outside, 3 wide for the race lead in the win here at Daytona. Crosses the stripe and we're all reckoning. Brian McCann takes the checkered flag. Blaze has newer tires, 6 laps newer to be specific. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. He makes some contact with Zach Millett. Millett drops it back to the bottom. Off of turn number 4 for the final time. Zach Millett's gonna win through the trial for the final time. And oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short's gonna win this. He does. Vincent Short wins. Back at Daytona International Speedway, pace car lights have been extinguished. Doubling up is the field into turn number 1. We've got 12 to go, should be 11 to go when we cross the stripe. Likely a shootout to the finish. Unless we have more chaos, which that's always possible. Neil Quick will be the leader, the control car on the restart. Brian McCann will be to his outside. Third will be Brandon Mefford, then Kyle Turzak to the outside. Fifth place, Chris Wally. And to his right, it'll be Garrett Johnston. Mike Cook in the 8th spot. Brandon Leclerc will restart 9th. 8th. Daniel Pinkston will restart 9th, and Jesse King will restart 10th, roughly, depending on how they get the order sorted out here. Those are your first 5 rows. We get ready for possibly our final restart of the night. Fingers crossed. McCann dropping it way down low alongside Neil Quick, just listening for that throttle to pick up.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag in the air, a little wheel spin from Neil Quick, but he gets away. Side by side down the back straightaway. Quick still with the race lead. McCann right there with some help from Kyle Terzak. Terzak's aggressive. He's going to push the 3 for all he's worth as this race gets closer and closer to its conclusion. Will Brandon Mefford push Neil Quick the same? Time will tell. Off turn number 4, back to the tri-oval. 10 laps to go. McCann's going to lead him to the stripe, or is he? Yes, he will lead that lap. 10 to go. The last one's what's going to matter. Not this one. But out in front, just by a nose, not even anymore. Brian McCann slips back to the second spot. Terzak still on the back bumper through turns 1 and 2. Any one of these drivers on the lead lap can win this race. No doubt about it. And that's still 20 trucks. Brandon Mefford pushing Neil Quick through the corners right there on the back bumper. That's the key. If you can push in the middle of the corner and not turn the guy, you're doing well, and you're certainly helping him get a little bit faster out in the front. Problem is the outside line's doing the same thing, so it's back and forth, seesaw battle in here into turn 3. McCann with a pretty strong advantage into the corner. He's going to take the lead, but he's clear and stays up top. Wants to stay connected to the nose of the 15 of Kyle Terzak. Out of turn number 4. One car out of line, one truck that is. It's Chris Wally. I don't know if he moved up there for some clean air or got pushed. Nevertheless, tried to get back in line, not enough room to do it. Top line loses some momentum because of it. Pulls back the race leaders. McCann drops back a little bit, but picks the momentum back up on the back straightaway. Terzak sniffing the outside here, trying to get some clean air. Back to the tailgate of McCann. Just him moving to the side there, you saw how much track position the 3 lost as they start to get disconnected. Now the top 2 with nobody to the outside. We'll see if McCann can build back a run into the tri-oval. He's back to Mefford, not quite to the door. Oh, we got more trouble here in the tri-oval.
Caution, caution.
Big time wreck here at the tri-oval. I think Zach Cleek was the first one to get turned on it. Zachary Cleek stationary for the moment. Riggins getting going. He gets turned the right direction. Cole Owens in it. Go back at it here again. Yeah, you see right there the silver number 77. We'll back it up here and try to get a closer shot. The 77 goes down low in the tri-oval and gets down to the apron. Bottom lane in behind the 25. Some drivers checking up. That's what really triggered this, it seems. You saw the fire out the pipes. Cleek gets down to the bottom, comes back up the racetrack, clips the 46 of Chris Mefford, and then it's chain reaction after that. The 85 actually catches some air, gets rolled up on the driver's side, and clears himself back down on all fours. Mike Cook going for a wild ride. Watch the 85 here. Wall lifts him up, and it looks like Chris Wally may have actually righted the ship as far as the 85 is concerned. He may have ended up all the way on his lid if it weren't for contact after the air got underneath the truck. So a strong day, turning sour quickly for the 77 of Zachary Cleek. He was dominant early. Still back in the 17th spot, and I don't know if he's used his fast repair. We'll find out. Cleek down pit lane, I'm going to assume. Nose all tore up. If he's got the quick repair, you'll see it, because it'll fix that truck in no time flat. And there it is. Cleek saved the fast repair for the very bitter end. Not out of this yet, still has a shot. As long as he stays on a lead lap. Sober One in the IROC chat says the 11 has been involved in every wreck, not by his own doing. Yeah, unfortunately with these tracks, you're on top of everybody, and if you're behind the wreck at these speeds, you're going to be in it. Field pacing behind the iRacing pace car. Pace car lights are out, so we're going to be green flag with 3 to go. So this will not get us to our green-white checkered attempt. So if things get crazy, we still have an opportunity to try this 3 more times. Sun's still setting here at Daytona with the track lit right up. And we got Raymond Terzak in the IROC chat saying, party time. Terzak sitting in the 5th position here as we get ready to go back to green. In about a half a lap as the field works the backstretch. Bypassing the bus stop chicane that's used for the Daytona 24. So once again, Neil Quick's going to lead them back to the line. He'll be in control of the restart now. Last restart, remember, Brian McCann was to the outside. Now he's got Brandon Mefford. Mefford and Quick were working well together. Curious to see how aggressive Brian McCann will be in pushing the 2 on this restart. Pace car is off. Field approaching the restart zone. They're in it now. Green flag is in the air. Quick on the throttle. Didn't waste any time. Catches Mefford to the outside. Big push coming from McCann, and the caution's out again. We got more trouble here on the front stretch.
Tell me what you got.
Saw some smoke. Well, there's one driver around. Garrett Johnston facing the wrong direction, and this is going to trigger our first green-white checkered finish. Attempt, that is. And here's the restart. The 15 doesn't... Oh, let's see what happened. He spun the tires. We'll rewind it, and we'll go full speed, and you can listen from the in-car camera. Oh, he missed a shift. I don't know if you guys could hear it on the broadcast side, but he went to grab a gear, didn't get to it, throttled up, and got the old dreaded money shift. Blew it up. Of course, when you blow a motor in front of the field on a restart, usually that's what happens. You get run over. So we're going to do it again here. Neil Quick, Brandon Mefford will be the lead cars on the restart. This will be our first try at a green-white checkered. Again, we do have 3 opportunities at this. Hopefully we don't need all 3. So while we work caution once again, we'll step aside yet another time. Get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on. Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Back at Daytona International, 3 laps to go. Our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Overtime. Race number 1 of the IROC Challenge Series, Season 9 of the IROC Challenge Series. Field work in the back straightaway as we get ready to go back green flag racing. It's going to be Neil Quick and Brandon Mefford, then Brian McCann, Kyle Turzak, then Jesse King, and then the 50 of Matt Kopp. Started 21st here tonight, finds himself with an opportunity. Got Josh Funkhauser and then Adam Benefile in the 9. Mike Cook and Dan Pinkston, the top 10. All right, folks, here we go. We're going to try this again here. First attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Can they get it done? Neil Quick finally sealed the deal here at a super speedway. Pace car is in. Quick fires. Clean through the tri-oval on the restart. Still coming up to speed in turn number 1. Top 4, bumper to bumper, side by side. Top 6, side by side through turns 1 and 2. Now to the back straightaway. Neil Quick, Brandon Mefford, side by side for the race lead. Everybody's got equal drafting help. Well, for a moment, Jesse King loses connection. That will affect the draft when that driver loses connection, so keep an eye on that. Now to the bottom side, Funkhauser and Benefield contact. Funkhauser goes around. We've got trouble off turn 4. Coming to the white, still no caution. And a caution comes out just before they get to start finish. We're going to line them up and try it again. Wow, talk about a simulation. They're even slow to the caution flag in the game. Heavy NASCAR influence. That was close. Just another 100 yards, I think. Neil Quick would have had a checkered flag in hand to start this season. Not to be. We're going to line them up and try it again. Interestingly enough, on my end, it does say that the white flag was actually displayed. We'll see if that is the case. Obviously on the screen right now it shows caution. Let's go back and watch the replay. Oh, that's not even it, is it? Oh, that's right. It came out super late. This is where it started, but we're going to rewind it all the way back to where this thing kicked off. The 81 ahead of the 9. Benefield pushing the 81, which is okay. But see, now he's changing. He gets to the bottom, and it sends Funkhauser up the racetrack. I think he gets into Kopp there. I think that's the 50. Benefield goes up the track, hammers the outside wall. We still don't have a caution even at this point. These drivers are all down off the racetrack, but I think right here with the 22 of Pinkston, that's where we get the yellow. And then Jason Nilgis. He's been in so many of these tonight. Tough break, man. He had a good run going in the early stages of this race, but he's been involved, I think, at least the last 3 yellows. So, there's one attempt. It was close. It was real close. Now, this is, let's see if we can get a look here where the start-finish line is. In comparison to when the flag came out. He's got the white. See, he's waving the white flag. And just as they get to the stripe, he pulls it back, and that's when the yellow comes out. So I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to end under caution technically. I don't know. The timing was just so tight, so close. Now, if this was a legitimate NASCAR race, you know the explanation would be, well, it's not based on the guy waving the flag. It's all based on when they hit the button. Chris Wally can explain it to everybody. Just send him a private message after the race. So caution number 7. Again, this will be our second attempt at a green-white checker. Pace car lights have gone off, so next time by, we'll try this again. So Neil Quick's got his fingers crossed yet again, hoping that his luck has turned around on these super speedways. Field back to the short chute between turn 4 and the tri-oval.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. Good restart. Neil Quick getting all the pushes off Brian McCann. Jesse King third in line on the inside. Get a lot of push from Chris Mefford. Had the truck crossed up. Keeps the hammer down off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. Neil Quick just wanting to get to that white flag. Jesse King taking a look to the inside. He's got drafting help from Chris Mefford. Quick keeps it where it's at. Oh boy, here we go again. No, they save it. Jesse King, I thought he was all but done. Gets it back on the racetrack. No, Brandon Mefford crashes in turn 4. Jesse King goes around. Do we get back to start finish? No, caution comes out again.
Tell me what you think you had there.
How many times does Neil Quick have to endure? So Brandon Mefford Brandon may have a faster pair here. Let's see. Yep, there it is, fixed. He's going to throw some tires on as well. Let's get a look at it, see what we can see. See, he's already up in the fence at this point. Going to rewind it. So let's go back here. I want to watch Jesse King first. Jesse King in the number 25. Had a line to the inside. I don't know if he dove to the inside or if the push from Mefford got him crossed up. I thought the caution was going to come out right here. King managed to get back up the racetrack. Mefford goes up a lane, gives him some space. Meanwhile, Nile just down at the bottom. Not sure what happened there with the 88. But then we look back up to Brandon Mefford. He's getting a big-time push from Kyle Terzak. Steve Durbin there in the 42, but you see what happened. Terzak gets to the low lane in comparison to Mefford, and that's what sends the truck up the racetrack. Mefford takes a big hit into the safer barrier. And then back down here once again, Mefford and King get together. King's going to get crossed up. He's going to go down the racetrack. There's no issue really there with the yellow, but here's where the yellow comes out. Mefford does a backwards corkscrew off the nose of Matt Kopp after coming up the racetrack, making contact with the 50. I said it earlier on, folks. We're going to have some calamity in this one, and it's certainly coming to fruition here late in this race. Well, we started tonight's race with 23 trucks. I think there's about 8 of them that don't have damage. As it stands right now, the top 12 trucks, the only ones on the racetrack right now. Everybody else in pit lane working on their machines. Chris Wally, Lance Riggins, Nuke Quick, Chris Mefford, Jesse King, Jason Nilgis, Mike Cook. All those drivers in pit lane still. Todd Kleek working on his from a previous incident. So this will be our final attempt, folks, whether they wreck or not. This is going to be over after this. Base car lights extinguished, so next time by, we're going to try this one final time. So now in the front row, we're going to still have Neil Quick as the control truck. He's going to have Brian McCann to the outside. And McCann is lightning on restart, so Quick is going to need to be on his game. Tell you, if I'm Neil Quick in this situation, I'm going to go the moment I get to that restart zone. Do not wait. Gotta go. Terzak's going to push Quick with all he's got. Honestly, if I'm Neil Quick, I'm a little concerned with Terzak. He's a hell of a wheelman, but he can be aggressive. You saw in that instance the push that he gave to Mefford. Maybe that calms him down a bit, maybe not. You got to try and get these wins when you can, and Terzak's in position here. See how much of a push Neil Quick gets from the 15. Base car about to pull left down pit lane.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. A little bit of wheel spin off Neil Quick, but a push as well from Terzak. It's going to get Quick just a nose out in front. Now even into turn one. McCann and Quick side by side for the race lead. McCann slips up the track a little bit off the nose of the 42 is Steve Durbin. Turzak pushing Neil Quick out of turn number 2. McCann edges out in front. Still not clear. Nowhere to really go for the 3. We'll see if the draft with Turzak pushing Neil Quick into turn 3 makes the difference. Still side by side. Hoping for a white flag here. No incidents so far. Fingers crossed. Coming to the stripe. White flag is in the air. Final lap from Daytona. Still side by side for the race lead into turn number 1. Neil Quick trying to close it out and finally pick up a checkered flag. Brian McCann gets loose, gets into Turzak. They finally start to wreck off turn number 2. Now the battle is going to be Neil Quick and Steve Durbin as the trouble happens behind them. The 42 of Durbin's got to find a way. No drafting help for either one of these drivers. Is Durbin too close to make a run? Neil's going to need to throw a block. I don't know if Durbin can get clear. Side by side through 3 and 4. Neil Quick trying to close this one out. He's had a strong second half of this race. Off turn 4, coming to the tri-oval. Coming to the checkered flag. Who's gonna win it at the stripe? Contact! Too close to call. It says Durbin, but the margin of victory is 0. I think Steve Durbin won this race. Steve Durbin. I think this is the only lap he led tonight, but he gets to the finish line just a little bit ahead of Neil Quick. Try and stop it here. Just that close. I know the flag stands in the way, but you can see the noses of the trucks. Steve Durbin, your race winner. Neil Quick second. Brian McCann still comes home P3. That's going to wrap this one up. We're going to get a quick break out of the way. We're going to bring our top 3 into the booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Daytona International Speedway, the first race of the season, IROC Season 9 in the books. Steve Durbin taking home the checkered flag here in dramatic fashion. Again, coming to the stripe. I don't think Durbin led a single lap tonight until the last one, the one that really makes the difference, the one that matters. Let's find out. Steve, it's Steve in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Steve, congratulations, man. What a race. You were in contention most of the night. I don't know that you had a lap led up until that very last lap. Walk us through that final lap. You were, again, in position. Things kind of went to hell in a handbasket with the wreck in that final lap and that final green-white checkered finish, and then it came down to just you and Neil Quick. How did you find a way around him? I know you had a bit of a run, but what was the key to getting to the line first?
Well, yeah, first off, I feel bad for spinning at Brian there and getting everybody else, but it's just late racing now. I was pushing them, and we kind of zigged and zagged and caught each other in the corner and didn't work out, but I saw the two coming. I still had his draft, and I just wasn't going to lift and see how far he would carry me. And I tried to side draft him coming to the line, and we doored each other there, but we both held on, and I came out on top, so thankful for that.
You get to the line first, you take the checkered flag, margin of victory, 1/100th of a second. It doesn't get any closer than that. Great way to start this season. We look forward next week going to Auto Club Speedway. Obviously, a track that's no longer in existence in the real world, but we are lucky enough to race it here on the iRacing service. How do you feel about your chances maybe to pick up a second win next week at Auto Club?
That's another one I enjoy, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting at least to be top 5. We'll see how it plays out. There's a lot of good people in here, and plate racing is definitely different, so we'll see how that one goes.
Well, Steve, again, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Chris Wally for sure, the IROC Challenge Series, the whole thing is set up. You guys for putting it on, and yourself for doing this for us. It's fantastic. Give us a chance to be a part of it and feel important a little bit. And of course, Bluey. Why not?
There you go. Got to shout out to Bluey for sure. Again, Steve, congratulations. Awesome run. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Too. Steve Durbin, your race winner here at Daytona International Speedway. Let's pull Neil Quick up into the booth here in just a minute. Hang on a second. We got to get some people fixed around. We got everybody in the wrong spot. All right, now we got that squared away. Neil Quick, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Steve-O.
Neil, congratulations, man. That one's got a sting. I know it's not on the back of a tow truck this time, but second place in that short of margin of victory, enduring those green-white checkered finishes, man. How do you feel?
Well, it sucks to lose one that close at the line, but for being off the sim for as long as I've been off of it, to knock the cobwebs off of it tonight, to be able to come down here and race, feel pretty good. And I think you know the way I feel about this place. You can fill it in with water and make it a fishing pond. So, but yeah, it had a good night of racing, fun. Just wish it would have ended a little bit sooner when we were holding them off under those green-white checkers. But I think I got a little bit of damage in that second to last lap deal win. I guess the winner there, Durbin, got into Brian and turned him sideways. I think I got a little bit of that, but to be honest, it was fun racing tonight.
It was certainly a fun one to watch. I know at one point you were a lap down tonight, so that was a difficult thing to overcome. The pit cycled back through, and all of a sudden you were back in this thing, in contention for the win up until, again, that very last couple of feet. We'll move on from Daytona, go into Auto Club Speedway, something that's a little bit more in your wheelhouse. How do you feel about your chance next week?
I feel real good. Just getting familiar and getting back on here and knocking the cobwebs off. Like I said, it's just it's been a long time. It's been at least 2 or 3 months basically before being back on this thing. So been fun tonight, and got to congratulate is it Steve Durbin that got me there at the line, and it was fun racing with Brian and Kyle and all these guys again tonight. So looking forward to California. It's a place that won a lot of races and had some success at. So looking forward to it.
Well, Neil, good to see you back out on track again. Congratulations on a runner-up here at Daytona. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Definitely the league admin, Chris, for putting this back together for us to run. You guys doing the broadcast. Family allowed me to get the time to come down here and do this. Work from unchaining me from the dust for a night. So a lot of people, thank you for letting us do this, and it was fun, and hope everybody enjoyed the races. It was a good one.
All right, Neil. Well, congrats again. Good luck next week, man.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Neil Quick, your runner-up here at Daytona International Speedway. Last but not least, we're going to talk to the driver of the number 3 machine. That's Brian McCann. We'll get a word with him. Brian, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got me?
Hey.
Brian, congratulations, man. A strong run here tonight. Not a great qualifying effort. Started back in the 17th spot, but again, these places, it doesn't always seem to matter as long as you can stay out of trouble. You seemingly did a pretty good job at that. Had a chance here at the very end. Walk us through that final green-white checkered finish. I know there was some contact there and another incident with, I think it was the 42. How was it from your perspective? What exactly happened in your opinion?
Yeah, going into turn 1, I think it was on the last lap, and I drifted up a little high, and Steven was trying to get to my bumper to give me a good shot down the backstretch, and we just didn't line up right, and I went down low, and some of the weirdest, like, net code or something was happening with me, and I think it was Kyle below me, just crazy, like, bouncing around, and somehow I was lucky and stayed straight. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, but yeah, just really lucky at the end there to pull out a third.
Well, it's impressive for sure that when I looked up, I saw that you still ended up P3. I was impressed. I thought it was all over for you, but a solid finish, a good points day. I know everybody hates that usually, but moving into Auto Club Speedway next week, a little bit more in your wheelhouse. How do you feel about your chances?
I love Auto Club. I haven't raced the trucks in a while, so I got to relearn the tire model on it, but we'll get it, so I'm feeling good about it.
Looking forward to it for sure, Brian. Congratulations again. Who do you want to thank?
My family, league admin, Wally for putting this show on again, you for doing the broadcast, sponsors, guys showing up to driving tonight, and everybody watching. Thank you.
All right, Brian. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week. It's Brian McCann, your third place finisher here at Daytona International Speedway. That's going to do it for the interview portion of our broadcast. Let's take a look at our race results. We talked to Steve Durbin, Neil Quick, Brian McCann. That was your top 3. Brandon Mefford comes home in the 4th position, even after that wreck and that second to last caution. Still ends up with a solid finish. 5th place was Adam Benefill in the 9. Garrett Johnston was 6th. Cole Owens finishes in the 7th spot. 8th went to Lance Riggins. Chris Wally was 9th. Josh Funkhauser finishes in the 10th spot. Zachary Kleek, who was so dominant early on, finishes 11th. Chris Mefford started dead last, finishes 12th. Nuke Quick was 13th. Kyle Turzak involved in that late incident as well. He finishes 14th. Doug Wysocki 15th. 16th went to Matt Kopp. 17th place finisher, that was Jason Nilgis. Hit everything but the pace car here tonight, and I'm not picking on him here. That's just the way his night went. Jesse King was 18th. Mike Cook was 19th. Dan Pinkston was 20th. 21st, Brian Leclerc had a strong run early. Todd Kleek, 22nd, and Tim Schofield finishes 23rd. Did not take the green flag tonight, so credited with 111 laps down. Tough way to start the season, but hopefully we see Timmy next week. That's going to wrap it us here at HBR TV. Again, I'm congratulating our race winner tonight, Steve Durbin, for taking that checkered flag and not giving up until the very last foot of this race. Congratulations to him, Neil Quick, Brian McCann alike. We'll see you guys next week out at Auto Club Speedway. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.